February 23rd, 9:34 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe in their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. This guy, you remind me a lot of Mia, but there's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Yeah, he does a very good point there. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Alright, here we go. February 23rd, 10 o'clock a.m. District Court number 9. Courtroom number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment is to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to a crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So, this is why everyone raves about caviar. It is so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. The heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now! Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't you go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has stated to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Ah! I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up the prosecutor's spaces, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Parking lot floor plans. Parking lot with Edward's car. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended Chief Prosecutor. It seems rather clear and dry, rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree with your principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? When is his account? Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garnished car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony to be nothing other than the point of the knife with which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Here we go. No face on our side. It's just Phoenix and the truth. Somehow... Okay, so... yeah, this is a bit different. Let's see. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro. As you know, my testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr. So, yes, Miss Starr here is... Yeah, she is definitely one of those kinds of devious women that have those cute charms and looks, but there's a devious side to her. A femme fatale of sorts, I guess. But there's not really anything that leads to tragedy with her. Well, towards us, rather. But let's see about that boyfriend of hers. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? And yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants.
I'll stick with the Lynches, thanks.
Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the Lawton A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the security sign. The room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by your car? By car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime? Let's see. By Garnish car, you mean? Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with the victim, which the victim was stabbed, was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed, it was.
What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, are you sure it was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her.
If she's telling the truth, we're doomed.
Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness.
You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, Rookie.
Huh? Rookie?
Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me.
I'll fry you like a fritter.
Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be regulated to the lowly position of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed.
A photograph! You took this?
The moment I witnessed in the crime, my reflexes took over and snap! I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with the camera.
I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness! Why am I only seeing this photograph just now?
You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this is most certainly the defendant.
Crime photo added to the court record.
Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye.
So what was the defendant doing at that time?
She's holding a knife in her right hand. Let's take a look at that picture. Doesn't seem like she was holding a knife. I'm kind of going to save here just in case, but I feel like it's that, because like she just brought up the picture and that was the next line afterwards, so I feel like it might be this. Okay, let's present it just in case. There we go, I was right. Despite me not playing this game for about 3 years, I still like I think just replaying it, it's not like really a memory thing, just more so that I feel like older me just seems to have more logic and sense to the game in a way. Like, you know, I know I feel like I logically know the thing better than I did back then. So like if I think it's just also older me just being more I guess more patient than younger me. You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife? As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
I'm sure that is a fine lunch. You just ate. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it is hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Wait! That contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made from thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If that was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Ah! These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder? A serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The rubber gloves prove it. Yeah, no prints, so... Man, you definitely have to... I'm going to try pressing first. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. Wait, to murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Ugh. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can't prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our hands cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking right next to me makes me calm. Don't smile like that. Alright, might have to present here, actually, now that I think about it. Let's save just in case.
I guess Edgeworth's knife makes the most sense. 512. 4 o'clock and 5:50. A single knife caused by a 4.5-inch knife. A single stab wound was found. Sorry. I'm gonna guess it's the knife. I can't really tell. Well, it's kind of funny how blurry some of the evidence is. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I think I have no other choice. Let's save here. I think I might have already saved, but screw it. Okay, the knife was the correct choice. Okay. Ugh, this is stressful. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belong to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? I like how there's a kid in the audience. The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The most important thing, the murder weapon. Oh, this knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to plan a murder. You don't forget the weapon. Ah! Whoa! Order! 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 Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister is as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole into the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Alright, Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. Also, her face there looks so scary. Like, ugh. Like, I don't know, that face just, like, looks a little bit horrifying. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. The victim was stunned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning on killing the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Alright, Angel's deduction. Let's see. You said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she said just was a mere prelude to the story she was about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe this suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. Alright, What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside?
How am I supposed to know?
See? We agree there's a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels, don't you agree?
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty.
This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Alright. Starr turned out to be as short-tempered as she was. Okay. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It does. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wax will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Oh, okay, this one's easy. The autopsy report says stabbed once. You say she stabbed him and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr.
What do you mean?
I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound.
Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk! He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed?
Well, witness?
You've got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could have ever mistaken ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying that you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood on her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
And tell us what you saw. Wait, saw that you thought was blood. Testify!
That's how red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the crime scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can easily be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't that odd that you mistook that splattered for blood?
Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
A judge with a bib? That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only one witness with one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr is entirely sure
but isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? The Starrs turned out to be short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Muffler looked like blood to me. But she wasn't wearing her muffler. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation! The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim, and you've proved it yourself. With this photograph. Huh? But that can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection, chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf, no, not that, but something red, really. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to the business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehend the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. The next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother with the details, unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Wow. Very well. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. Ooh, apprehending the suspect. So, where is the partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? Okay, this part's going to be confusing. You say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. I like to see this on the floor plan, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes? Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain-link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the Copper Queen, lunch lady, athlete indeed. It would have to taken her a little time to climb over the fence. She couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, the fence was about 9 feet tall, too. So how did Miss Sky not get away? Ah, yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. Let's see if we can get any information out of this. She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard was her say the words muffler. Just that one word? So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else. The chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. Oh no, this court doesn't see Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to a good testifying? Should of course add that to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. Where Muffler was overheard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. Do you think you could restate your testimony for court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this once, so listen close, rookie. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. She then picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. She then pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. My apologies. At that time, you climbed over the chain link fence? Then, when I barely grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? She made to escape? Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to be seen, like a dollop of lard onto a pâté of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side on the scene of the crime. But it's strange. Why is that? She wanted to escape. Why didn't she run the other way then? The other? Forgot for the parking lot entrance. That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to knock to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So this guy tried to run. I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am, but she didn't do it. So, wait, you have to believe me. She mentioned the muffler.
I'm gonna try presenting the phone. I feel like that makes the most sense here. No. I like how you can also examine the badge as well. That's pretty funny. Ugh. Oh my god, it's like the most I'm having trouble with so far. She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remember correctly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, I told her that all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So what did you hear? That wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Okay, I saw it all. Sounds dead. Did we press on this yet? Do you think you could restate the testimony in your court? Aha! I was gonna ask the same thing. Okay, so listen close, rookies. Okay, we didn't do this. Okay. Chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during this time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Oh wait, I said that in... Oh my god. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then, when I grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? Oh my god. I knew it had to have been that for one of them. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The defense is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't have possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you saw what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you weren't blocked, B-block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. Gah. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw. Order the events. I'm gonna go for where she saw it. Miss Skye tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Skye using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I've ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question for our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the crime when she saw the channel? Oh, testimony, okay. Uh, well, she had to have been in the security room in order to see. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It is built on the second floor, and you could see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are so many other places where she could have seen the people. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being a part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime in the back of the partition is here. Remember, in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Oh yeah, completely forgot about the boyfriend. Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could have been turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make any sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't have changed anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime of the security guard station. But she lied, and she saw it from B block. It must be a vital difference, but what? What would change? Angle, distance to the crime, angle due to the crime, and difference in lighting. We are going to lose 2 if we get this wrong, so I don't think it's the lighting one, because it makes no sense, so... I think it's going to be the distance, because she was saying how it was 30 feet, so... It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plan, and it's quite clear. The distance between the scenes of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there? To the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness, yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inevitable. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with my fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Wow, that is one long trip just to climb over a fence. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in Block B. Wait, in B block. That's quite a detour. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there, the defendant's chair, who stabbed him.
I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork.
You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely!
Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this?
Let's raise an objection.
5 minutes between the witness of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could have made pasta in that same amount of time, if you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that are tied to pasta into knots, rookie.
5 minute blank. Isn't that strange?
Strange? If you were a criminal, why would you do it with your 5 minutes? What would you do with your 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene.
Hey!
Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. This guy dawdled at the scene of the crime. She had taken her prince her prince was taken. Oh my god, I misread that horribly. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yag!
Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant, and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned.
Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off of me. I prefer to not take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
Was that?
Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes?
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's detrimentation, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One, of course, was the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on that shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed.
Did I mention it? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
What?
You must know that the rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective, as I mentioned previously. This shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Is that not right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim's shoe, and now shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Skye. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Decisive evidence, here we go. This is the last one. Let's see here. Actually, could check this shoe. Yeah, there are footprints underneath. Ah! There's blood here, too! On the sole of the shoe? It's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped on it in a puddle of his own blood. This is blood. It's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. Alright. And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime? I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed the valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next. Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She isn't enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you or don't you think there's a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? I think there is a problem. Because we did go over it. I'd say there is one crucial problem with this evidence. It's a clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes, you're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish guts now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence. Alright, here we go. I think it is... that. I wonder if you noticed there's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't you mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be more contradictory about the blood on the bottom of his shoe? Her shoes aren't white here. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there are no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order! 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 Well, witness? What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. Well then, we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh?
That's true. Has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just not good at finding logo contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. God, get what? Our witness is more devious than I give her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There was one vital hit to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr! I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chef to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that? I'm not sure I like your attitude with Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Wait, Regis! Well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. What water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason why she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for the one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Ugh! That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the tailgate. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say that she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... Enough! There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Starr is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? But me? What did you say, that I, Angel Starr, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well... I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Well, wait, still tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this! A photograph? I had it in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. But Mr. Wright, wait! Look at the absolute in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet! Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind, immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not, Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up. Or get yourself up off the Absol. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence.
Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can't I hand my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with the latest piece of evidence? Yeah. I'll think it later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with the evidence.
Take that!
Well, there's something inside the muffler. The problem in the photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also part of on a car motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as the part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's this suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler?
So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You've said as much as in your testimony.
What?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case. Oh boy, okay. Well, there's one time where it was mentioned, and that was in the call. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court.
Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler! Ugh! Yuck!
Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of evidence of cloth is vital evidence. Oh, what? Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings.
Suspended?
I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered, here we do have a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we have seen all the evidence. Agreed?
I suppose so. Whew, that was a close one, but we made it. At least for now.
This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all.
He's still hungry. To be continued.
Yeah, that was really long, and I probably have to do a lot of cutting there, so... Yeah, love my videos with a like button. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Would appreciate it. Next time on Ace Attorney, we're doing the latter half of the trial. Yeah, this is where it gets really long, and yeah, also the rest of the series kind of takes a bit of inspiration off of this, or rather, I believe Case 5 was actually made after, I think, the later game, so yeah. I could be wrong, though. I probably will correct myself in the next episode. So, yeah, we'll see you guys then.